farmers.
My name is Nyakata Sinas. I represent the people of Hoima City as a woman member of parliament, but I'm also the shadow minister for agriculture. I come from Bunyoro sub-region.
So once again, I want to welcome you to this brief press conference, and we'll be talking about coffee, the rationalization of UCDA. We have had some time off to move to our constituencies over this weekend, and we interacted with our people. We interacted with the farmers, interacted with traders, the business community, some cooperatives, and so we want to give our position on UCDA rationalization. One, we are against the rationalization of UCDA as Western Ugandan MPs because an impression has been created that we are compliant, that we don't mind about coffee. Actually, if you look at the figures of coffee in this country, number one is Uganda, and number two is Western Uganda in coffee. So there is a lot of coffee in Western Uganda, and so we have serious interest in this national crop called coffee. Number two, we are concerned that if government insists on rationalization of UCDA, we are going to lose the regulation role that it has been playing. We are going to lose the quality maintenance that it had reached as we talk now. We are going to lose the expertise, but also above all, the market promotion. And so we have the regulation risk, the quality risk, the market risk, but also the expertise risk once UCDA is gone. And we would want to ask government, who are we legislating for? If the farmers have said no, the traders said no, the cooperatives have said no, why are they insisting? Who are they legislating for? Because we are supposed to legislate for farmers, for traders. So, if you go to any part of this country, whether it is Western, Central, Northern, Eastern, everybody is saying, don't touch our coffee. So, why is the president insisting? We want them to parade any farmer in this country who says we are okay with rationalizing UCDA. Just one. All farmers are against it. All traders are against it. You know, when we lost the coffee marketing board, the price went down up to 200 shillings. Ugandans have now been recovering. Coffee is now at 13,000 a kilo. We are at our best. UCDA has given us 82 billion shillings. And yet we had invested only 44 billion. So if you are talking about saving cost, then UCDA is making money. If you are talking about duplication, there is no duplication. If Museveni wants to tell us about duplication, let him first deal with his cabinet. You have a minister for foreign affairs, a minister for regional affairs, you have East African affairs. All these are foreign affairs. And you also have international affairs. Minister for International Affairs, Foreign Affairs, Regional Cooperation, East Africa. Isn't that duplication? So let him start with his own house and wash it first. Let him first combine those ministries so that we know we have only one minister in charge of foreign affairs. Then you can deal with regional, East Africa, Africa, and the international world. So for us, we believe that there is something hidden. We in the West are now suffering the costs of tea. People had started uprooting tea to plant coffee. Now, you have killed the tea, you are now coming for coffee. It is deliberate because they believe that the poor are easily governed. Once you're poor, they can govern you well. But that the rich are very difficult to govern. So they want all of us poor. It is deliberate. And then he will be coming to give out handouts. Handouts of Bonabaga Gaware, of parish development model. So that he's the only person who gives out money. Parish development model, you hear they say it is Museveni has given us. But Ugandans are hardworking. So, we are here together with my colleagues to speak on behalf of our people in Western Uganda, the farmers, and also to declare that we will be going next week, we will be going to the field again. We shall have a big meeting in Ankole, we shall have another meeting in Chigezi, we shall have another meeting in Rwenzori, we shall have a meeting in Bunyoro, for the farmers to speak out. In Toro also we shall be there. So the farmers speak out. Because the representatives of the farmers who came to the committee, all of them said no. But their no has not been listened to. So let us mobilize the farmers to speak out. So they tell Museveni that you are not legislating for us. What you're bringing is your own idea. Thank you very much.
We've come here in solidarity as members of parliament representing people from Western Uganda. On board, we have members of opposition, we have members of NRM, and we are having a common voice because we are fighting for our farmers. Whether a farmer is an FDC farmer, NRM, or UPC. And the reasons why we are here, we've just come to assure Ugandans, including the President Museveni, who is so greedy, that this time we are not going to accept and sit. Ugandans who are watching us, when President Museveni invited us in caucus as NRM, I was very happy that among the people who were given an opportunity to ask him, Mbwa, the dog barked. And this is the message I told the president. He stood up and said he's going to crush UCDA. And I told him, you know, he likes to use Banyankore proverbs. And I told him the same. I said, Your Excellency, in Banyankore we have a proverb that akuchizire naita sho ahungura nyoko omweta sho. Whoever is older than you can kill your dad, marries your mom, and you still call that person your dad. I said, you're going to crush UCDA, you want to kill us. You want to kill our economy. We shall still respect you as the fountain of honor, the chief of defense forces, but that pain will never go away from our heart. He listened to that. So I've come to assure Ugandans that this time we must extend this war of verbal artilleries if we are to win it. As my colleague has alluded, we must go on ground, mobilize these farmers, not to vote even this NRM of mine that is rotting. Which interest does he have in this? Whose interest are they legislating for? Whose will? Who has requested him that coffee farmers are suffering, that they need rescue? I asked even a question. You know, crying more than they believed. You know, I normally train people how to cry. Yes, and if you have a party, you can invite me. a funeral, and I show you. In our culture, if you've lost your dear one, and for you've come as to just say sympathy for the family, you shouldn't cry more than the bereaved family. As they are heightening their voice, for you lower little bit. But if yours comes up so much, they get to know that this one is the one who has killed him or her. This is what is happening. For us in Western Uganda, we came and told the president, the prices of tea, we need some rescue. We needed bailout. For us who needed bailout, we've not gotten any bailout. The coffee industry, where we are doing extremely well and we don't need any government intervention, it's where he's showing interest. What a greedy man. No, we cannot accept. I uprooted tea, my 20 acres, I've planted coffee. Now, the same man who has made me to lose money in tea, he's following me up.
In the coffee.
In coffee. We need to tell Ugandans facts. Let me tell you what you didn't know. In this government of ours, if you came up with a theory and you told my government that, you see, there is a lot of gold in cow dung, the following day, the whole family, the one you know, it will come up, it will put an embargo that nobody should even sell cow dung, even if it is your cow. They will even compel you to look for baskets to make sure that you can tap cow dung because they think it is very lucrative. That's how greedy Mr. Museveni and his team has gone. He killed our cooperatives. Banyankole Kwete and a cooperative. If you think in Western Uganda we don't have coffee, we had Banyankole Kwete and a cooperative. When they came to power, they told Ugandans cooperatives are useless. They killed Honorable Gisu. That was wise. Survived. Now they are saying they want to revamp cooperatives. After killing, selling, eating, and our people are so poor. We are not going to sing the song, Mr. President, we are happy, all the same, we are happy, we are so poor, but all the same, we are happy. No, we're not going to sing that song for you. We cannot be unhappy and sing for you the song that we are happy to appease you. Enough is enough. What you've plundered in this country, I think it is enough to cater for you. Leave our coffee. We don't need your intervention. Please accept the little that you are having. Lastly, I want to caution all the MPs. The time we were crying for tea crisis, only a few MPs from tea growing area spoke and supported the cause. Now I'll tell you, there was this man who was called Martin Moeller in Germany, when there was, you remember the Nazism regime, he said that when they came for communists, I kept silent because I was not a communist. When they came for trade unionists, I couldn't speak because I was not a trade unionist. But when they came for me, nobody spoke because I was only left alone. You remember Hitler had killed every person, but whenever he was killing, this Pastor Martin could keep quiet. But when they came for him to be killed, nobody spoke for him, and he also died. The same applies to us as MPs. If the matter is touching Karamoja, that they are plundering gold of Karamoja, and a member brings the point, even if you are not from Karamoja, let us fight for Ugandans. So now you can see, tea first, few people came to support us. Now they are coming for coffee. Many people are coming on board, but for us we are saying still we are there. And some people are silent because they know they've not planted coffee. The only industry that won't be touched, I assure you Ugandans, it is the animal industry. It won't be touched because the president, the fountain of honor, that is his interest. Have you ever known the reasons why people selling milk, they don't pay taxes? Here in the village, Do you know that a person getting matoke from my village, from your plantation, before you pass any trading center, you pay tax? Have you ever seen someone putting a can or a jerrycan of milk, paying that tax? Have you ever known, your journalists go and probe, that every car that ferries milk, the coolers, they have the red and white number plates, they are exempted from tax. What about for us who buy fusos to carry our coffee and matoke? Do we get tax exemptions? Open up your eyes. The country has rotten, and Mr. President, accept us and we take up the mantle as NRM members. You cannot manage anymore.
Thank you.
As you have heard, the writing is on the wall. There wouldn't be much I would add after our two very, very eloquent colleagues. But the only thing I want to emphasize, members of the press, is that this matter of coffee should not be looked at or should not be trivialized, because there are people who are intending or having an intention of trivializing it, and particularly making it appear as if it is a concern of only the Uganda region. This is far from the truth. The issue of coffee is a national matter, as coffee has been a national crop for time immemorial. You will recall really the transition, the time, from the time of the destruction of the Coffee Marketing Board and all the processes which have followed since that time. A lot of what of course have gone under the bridge, but right now we are concerned to see that this kind of national economic crop can be disorganized, can be disadvantaged when we are looking on. This will be very, very unfortunate. And I wanted to mainly concern myself with the aspect of the management. We are hearing a lot of talk that the removal of UCDA is aimed at, cutting costs, making sure that the costs in terms of staff salaries, staff costs, and so on and so forth are kept to the minimum. But in any process, there is what we call the trade-offs. You trade off the factors which led to the creation of UCDA have not gone away. Why was UCDA created? UCDA was created because the Ministry of Agriculture or the Ministry of Cooperatives, Trade and Market at that time didn't have the capacity, to undertake the functions what UCDA has been undertaking. There was too much on its plate. And the same goes actually for all these other MDS which Parliament is rationalizing. Take, for example, UNRA. When UNRA was formed, before UNRA, there was what we used to call the Road Unit Formation Unit. That was formed around 1995, 96, 97. I was working in the Ministry of Works. And I knew very well what capacity the Ministry of Works had to look after our roads. It was limited. And that's how government decided to delegate this function to first RAFU and eventually around 2006, UNRA. And since that time, UNRA has done a good job. You cannot tell me that UNRA has not done a good job. UNRA has done a good job. And in the view of most of us, it should stay. But because there is the emperor who has decreed that UNRA must be, decentralized again, that it's going to happen. So the issue of recentralizing UCDA should be looked at in the perspective of the capacity of the Ministry of Agriculture to run these functions. That's what should be looked at. And in our view, some of us, we think that most of these ministries are sick. These ministries are sick. These ministries, there is a lot of operational malaise. They simply can't perform. You see? Even what they have, the few functions they have now, they cannot perform them. Then how about adding them more? You see? A Ministry of Agriculture, you see the mess which is within our research organizations. Nothing can move. Then you bring it, on top of that you bring it NADS, on top of that you bring it the function of UCDA, and you think you are serious? So some of us were saying no. We need to speak out. We need to stand up and be counted. That even if at the end of the day, those who are for the decentralization of UCDA have the day, history will absolve us. That these people, Isingoma, stood up and talked, only that he was not listened to. He voted to keep UCDA as it is, but he was not listened to. Mboate Kamwa did his part. We shall be absolved. And this will happen because we don't think that these institutions, almost all of them invariably, should be, should be rationalized in the way we are doing it. We think we will do better, given that. And the issue of this other argument which disturbs my mind is the issue of cutting costs. But in every aspect of management, including the economic aspects, there are trade-offs. There are what we call trade-offs. You trade off one thing to achieve another. And because these institutions have been operating well, they have been effective, they have been rendering the services required of them. We had to meet a higher cost to maintain them. You see, you had to meet a higher cost, for example, to pay UNRWA officials, to pay your CDA, and all these other, staff who are in these organizations. You meet that cost, at a cost of, at a cost of ensuring that they perform the services. You get these services, but you pay the cost. It is not like, it is different from centralizing them, and then you have poor services. You decentralize, you put the services of the road function back to your Ministry of Works, and the officials there are busy sleeping, and you have no value for money. And it is you to lose. You do the same for the UCDA. The quality of coffee, whatever has been coming out of it, degenerates, and it is you to lose. So there is a trade-off on each and every, function. You need to forego something in order to achieve something better. You see. So, members of the press, this is our battle. This is the battle of everybody, including yourselves. We think it is high time that we all address this matter collectively, in one spirit, so that we can save our coffee, we can save UCDA. And the people of Bunyoro, nobody should deceive you about this. The people of Bunyoro, on whose behalf I speak, as a member of parliament from Bunyoro region, are very, very anxious about this proposal, about this bill to revert UCDA to the Ministry of Agriculture. They don't support it. They may not come here physically, but we are telling you on their behalf. They don't. This is a very big, major coffee growing area. We have a lot of coffee there, including myself. I'm a coffee farmer. See? And we think that we, by removing UCDA from where it is to Ministry of Agriculture, we are like somebody who buries his head in the sand and leaves the whole of his torso outside, and he says he's now safe. He has protected himself. That's not possible, and that's not true. So let me stop here and allow my sister.
And the public should also know that the minority report was signed by 80% members from different regions of this country. And 80% of the members who signed the minority report were from different parts of the country. And to mention, the former leader of opposition, that is Honorable Olbeti Achan, that she's from the north. Honorable Isodo Stella, she's from the east. Honorable Asanta Okot, she's from the north. Honorable Nyakata Sinas is from Bunyoro. And Honorable John Impalanyi and Honorable Matov Charles, only 2 members were from Buganda. And you should also know that this report and most of these members are members from the other side of the ruling party. Majority members of on the committee of agriculture just saw the fear that they cannot come out and stand against their party position, because it was very clear in the committee that they have to abide by the party position, by the cabinet position, and that is to take UCDA the way it is. Members of the public should also know that most of the stakeholders who appeared before the committee and representing the 12.5 million Ugandans all said no to taking back UCDA into the mother ministry. And among the stakeholders who appeared before the committee was the Buganda Parliamentary Caucus. We had stakeholders from Buganda Kingdom. We had stakeholders from Bunyoro, those were the Coffee Growers Association, Bunyoro. We had the farmers from Kanungu, Masaka, Coffee Growers, West Nile, Northern Uganda. We had the Bugisu Cooperative Union, but also Bugisu Parliamentary Caucus. We also had a number of stakeholders, individual. All these ones, they were a representative of the 12.5 million Ugandans. They overwhelmingly said no. So what I expected from the main report of the committee was to respect the views of the stakeholders who appeared before the committee to represent the 12.5 million Ugandans. So we, being a people-centered parliament, Uganda parliament, we did not report exactly what the views of these 12.5 million people, farmers, coffee farmers, spoke. And this is against the will of Ugandans. Being a people-centered parliament, but also reporting otherwise. So the report that the committee came up with was just a table report. It was not a reflection of the views that the majority, 12.5 million Ugandans, did speak. I also want to call upon the public to join your members of parliament in demanding the rejection of the UCDA rejection. Someone asked that you people, why Bunyoro you don't plant coffee? Bunyoro you don't plant coffee. For us, we have been, initially we used to plant cotton. When the government started underfunding it, people gave up with cotton. We went to tobacco farming. Our farmers have been cheated every other day. We were fishermen. On the lake now we can no longer fish. We can no longer fish. The military has taken over all the lakes. But all this under the Ministry of Agriculture's supervision. The Ministry of Agriculture should know that they have failed to perform their work efficiently and effectively. As we speak today, just early this year, we saw the Ministry of Agriculture giving out tractors without plows, others without the engines, and others without handlers. This working tractor that they gave out never had the handlers. We have seen the Ministry of Agriculture fail to manage the fisheries sector. They have given it out to the army. They have given it up to the UPDF to take over the lakes. We as Parliament, we did make a resolution here for the Ministry to go and come up with the Aquaculture and Fisheries Act regulation. Up to now, they have failed to come up with the regulation. We did recommend they come up with the tea policy. The Ministry of Agriculture, up to now, we have very many petitions in Parliament of farmers, of tea, tobacco. Western alone has over 5,000 farmers who are cheated by Nima Tobacco, by Continental Company, and all this is under the ministry, being under the Ministry of Agriculture. Today, our maize, our rice, cannot cross the borders of Kenya, cannot cross the borders of Tanzania. Our chicken, it cannot cross all those borders of our neighboring countries where we are talking about common market, we are in the East African integration. And under the supervision of Ministry of Agriculture, they are very silent. Just last year, we saw our maize, the kawunga, being poured when it was crossing over the borders of South Sudan. They were saying it is full of aflatoxins. And the Minister of Agriculture is all seated, very comfortable, seeing farmers suffering, seeing traders suffering. They cannot stand out and speak for themselves. Today, the rest of Tanzania, in Hoima, it can reach up to the stores of a local businessman, door to door selling. Even the rest of Tanzania is cheaper than ours here. So our farmers have decided to lower the prices of theirs so that the one of Tanzania doesn't outcompete them. Being that ineffective, then again you call a ministry, an agency like this, Uganda Coffee Development Authority, to also come, you kill it. Members, what we should know is the main objective of this bill here is the Uganda Coffee Development Authority Bill 2024 is to kill, to remove, to abolish, to scrap off UCDA. And of course, when you kill someone, you cannot say that you're transferring the roles of the dead body to the what? To the mother ministry. You cannot transfer the roles of the dead body to the mother ministry. For instance, if I'm a member of parliament today and I died, my child who inherits me cannot do my work. So that's why we are heading. We are seeing UCDA going to be killed, and totally they bury it just because for them they are just looking at saving costs. They are looking about ineffectiveness, but yet themselves they have failed. Finally, Ugandans, wherever you are, we request you to join your voices, so that we speak the same voice against the taking up of this UCDA into the main ministry.
Thank you very much. I want to just we conclude. And then you ask questions. If you remember, in the last session, we rejected this very bill. President Museveni invited some members to State House and asked them to bring it back. I want you to ask some of these members, what has changed? You rejected this bill a few months ago. What has changed for you to now come and say the bill should pass? What has changed? For Museveni to say that those who are for Ugandans are being given money. I saw him alluding to that. I want you to ask our colleagues what has changed. They are going to Sozi on Friday to completely deal with coffee, UCDA. Ugandans are watching. I want to advise our colleagues who are going to Chisozi. Rather than go to Chisozi to kill coffee, go and tell President Museveni from his home in Chisozi that Ugandans are against this move. Ugandans are not happy. And you see, we speak for the farmers. And I had talked about it. I want you to ask those who are supporting, who are they speaking for? Because we cannot legislate for Museveni. That's because Museveni doesn't want it. Can you imagine? It's the only reason. That Museveni doesn't want it. So what? Is he a coffee farmer? Because for me, I speak for farmers. Who is Museveni speaking for? I was educated using coffee. What did he use? So we speak with a lot of pain. And as members of parliament, when poverty increases, it affects us as members. We have taken the role of paying fees.
Which we are already doing.
So my colleagues can go to Chankwanzi, but when you meet them, please tell them, mean Chisozi, when you meet them, tell them that Chisozi is a slaughterhouse for coffee. And it will go into the history of this country. So want to know who are for coffee and who are against coffee. Want to know who are the murderers of this national crop. And that's why we have come as members from Western Uganda to speak for the farmers, speak for coffee, speak for UCDA. Thank you very much.
Maybe another question should be.
She's posing, let me just tell you members, when we were in State House, the Secretary General stood up. I want to give you the reasons why you might think they've given it 3 years. Stood up and told the President that the way members have rejected this, it is detrimental. We are going into campaigns, including yourself. They are not saying they are postponing it, they are giving it 3 years in faith. No, they want immediately after elections. That's when they want to take it away. Because members are scared that the attrition rate now, if we are to say, we just close it, we kill it, now, few will come back.
Many funerals.
Many funerals. We shall buy the coffins, we shall prepare the...
Many political funerals.
I'm telling you. So that is the reason. Don't be excited that they've given 3 years for transition.
No.
Why not other entities? That's what we agreed in caucus.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mbwa.
Yes,
Question.
And the plan that you're planning, something else you're planning, another strategy to help, for this.
Thank you very much. Any member of parliament who is scared of taking a decision does not qualify to be an MP. Any member of parliament who is scared of taking a decision because he fears anybody, whether it is the president or chairman of a party, does not qualify to be an MP. Because Ugandans sit and choose you to come and speak for and on their behalf. And so you cannot say, I am scared of speaking. If you're scared of speaking, don't be an MP. 2, you asked about not having signed. It is true that on that day I was not in the country. But if you want to know my position, I have given it to you.
No, but now
I was on Zoom, but those who are on Zoom are not allowed to vote. It's only the people who are present. So, if I was there then, this is what my position was going to be. Fortunately, this decision is not yet made. We only moved from one stage and a decision was taken to move to another stage. But there is confusion in the public for people to think that the decision is already taken. It's not yet taken.
It's not yet taken.
So we are going to vote at the 3rd stage, and at that time we shall know who is for and against. That voting was not for and against, it was for moving to another stage. That is what happened. And I'm sure you as journalists know the process of the bill making process, how many stages you go through. So it is that final stage that we are mobilizing farmers to talk to their members of parliament so that we don't kill coffee. That last stage. The game plan. We have told you we are going for mobilization. Museveni is going to Chisozi. For us, we are going to the people. We are going to all regions. For us, we are going to deal with our Western Uganda. The other members can also go to their regions. So, by the time they come back from Chisozi, we shall be giving them how many farmers are against their decision, and they will be telling us how many cows they have eaten from Chisozi. Because for us, really, our position is very clear. So, Chimathi New Vision, my position is very clear. As a God-fearing person, as a Christian, as a Catholic, above all, I cannot betray my people. I cannot. My father used to work with Manyankwere Kweterana. Even when he had no money, he only needed a receipt from Manyankwere Kweterana to take to school, and they would allow me to study. And then he would pay later through the cooperatives. So my father would be very annoyed with me in his grave if he heard that I had taken a decision of working against coffee. And so I cannot. I am for coffee, I am for UCDA, I am for development.
And I would like to, before we go to Uganda, I would like to amplify further. I don't know,
No, it's okay.
I would like to amplify further on the points raised by my colleague, Honorable Mujuki, on the issue raised by a lady there, which was to do with the fear, is it especially among those MPs who are for rationalization? You remember that point? Fear that maybe they will lose their seats, something like that. That's a very pertinent issue, but I would like to say that for me, I would rather that people start thinking using their heads other than thinking using their stomachs. It is very, very important because let me give you an example. I was not in the parliament. It was in the 10th parliament. Honorable Mujuke was there and Honorable Mbwa. And we had a major event in the 10th parliament, which was the Tojikwatako. There are very many MPs from the movement party who against the wishes of their voters decided to do what? To Kujikwatako. And I'm telling you, you are members of the media, you are members of the press, you know what the casualty rate was among this group.
Including Nankabirwa.
You see?
Who used to tell them they are going to help us if we touch.
If we touch. The rate of the casualty rate was so high. So, we have a saying in Bunyoro that if those who have ears, let them hear. Those who don't have, it is up to them. But it is wiser to do the right thing, other than to do the wrong thing simply because you are fearing for the outcome. That's what I would like to comment on that. We have Mbua here, he will talk most of the issues.
Tuli wano ng'abaka abava mu Western Uganda kwogera ku nsonga za UCDA. Kubanga ffe mu Western Uganda, specifically nze Owankore, tulinayo emwanyi mungi nyingi kale. So ate nze ng'omuntu ndi mulimi. N'olwekyo tuze wano kubagamba nti ffe twogerera abalimi. Naye abagamba nti UCDA egende boogerera ani? Tuli wano kubagamba nti ffe teri agenda kututiisatiisa nti kubanga munene mu gavumenti oba ki, kubanga ffe abaatuleeta mu palamenti si banene ba gavumenti, bantu ba bulijjo, ate abangi babawo ku lw'omwanyi. Ekyokubiri, tuli wano kubagamba nti tugenda mu Western Uganda ffe tubeere n'olukungaana buli district, buli region, nga twogera n'abalimi, twogere ku nsonga z'omwanyi gwaffe. Tuli wano kubagamba nti abagenda Kisozi nabo mubagambe twe bagenda eyo babuulire muzeeyi ekituufu, bamugambe nti ekigenda maaso political suicide. Bamugambe nti bannayuganda bonna bagamba nti omwanyi temugukwatako. N'olwekyo muzeeyi aveeyo abuulire eggwanga. Abalimi bwe baganye, abasuubuzi ne bagaana, cooperatives ne zigaana, yayogerera ani? Ebintu byonna ebirimu ssente mu ggwanga lyaffe byonna babitute. Bwe bawulira nti eno waliyo amafuta bagendayo, gold yaabwe. Kati bawulidde nti omwanyi gufunye ssente nagwo baguyingidde. So tuli wano kumugamba oyo muzeeyi nti ffe teri atuwadde ssente twogere naye abantu kitukakatako ng'abakulembeze. Nga nze omunakatuliki ow'e Roma sijja kusirika nga ndaba nti ekituufu nkimanyi. So tuli wano kubuulira bannayuganda nti ffe tujja kulwana tulabe nti omwanyi gwaffe tugusevinga. No, that's all.
Bantu baffe abatulaba bannayuganda, ekisooka tuzze wano kutangaaza ensi nti abalowooza nti ffe abantu abava mu Western Uganda tetulima mwanyi oba tetulina interest mu mwanyi oba twakiriziganyiza n'omukulu President Museveni okwagala okutubbako ekyobugagga bwaffe akyezze ne famire ye, ekyo twagala kutangaaza ensi tetukiriimu era tetukiwagira. Nafuna omukisa Caucus okuva lwe ekisanja kino n'akagendayo omulundi gumu era nagendayo ku lw'emmwanyi. Yatera nnyo President atera nnyo okubeera n'olugero nti nantabuulirirwa yasaabaalira mu ly'ebbumba. Kati amazima ga Katonda mu ggulu omusajja alina enkasi ali mu kebbumba alowooza avulumula eryato naye nga ssaawa yonna ng'Abannayuganda ate abalimi atutta atumalawo. Nagamba President ne mugamba Abanyankole balina olugero nti omuntu yenna kasita aba akusingako asobola kutta taatawo oba kitaawo n'addamu n'awassa maamawo ate n'omuyita taata. Kakati kye kimu namugamba nti ssebo genda kutta emmwanyi zaffe kubanga tukutya nga fountain of honor ng'omukulu akulira eggwanga tujja sigala tugamba yes president naye nnyiike tuli ku mitima ssebo y'amaanyi nnyo. Nolwekyo teri ngeri yonna president gy'alina okulimba ensi nti alumirirwa emmwanyi tayina. Njagala mukitegeere kyasinga okulumirirwa nte bumba temukitegeerangako. Ffe abalimi b'amajaani twavaayo ne tukaaba ssaawa zino amajaani gakyali ku nusu ebibiri ne tusaba gavumenti mwalaba nga tukaayana naye president government tevangayo n'okutuwa n'ejjiiko ya fertilizer tugende tuteeke mu majaani gaffe. Kaakati ssebo mwami Mulugube obuvumu obujjawa okugamba nti oyagala kujja otaase ab'emmwanyi gye tufuna obulungi nga tetukuyitangako tetwagala na buyambi bwo ssebo naye nga tosobola kujja mu majaani olowooza ani yandyetaaza obuyambi ssebo bw'obanga oyagala kukaaba osinge ffe abafiiriddwa si gwe oba ossa omuntu oyo mufu era twakutegedde gundi twakutegedde nti ekigendereddwakyo ekintu kyonna kye mulowooza mu nsi kya bugagga mwagala kukyezza. Mwami Mwizu kyayogedde ku kya gold olwo naali nkiikirire mubende bwe bayingirira constituency ya Nsamba ne bakwata abanansi ne babajja mu gold ne batandika okulima. Si basoda abaliyo soda muganda wo sibe ba sodo abali mu kusima gold abanansi baba kanyuge bweru. Kakati na kino president tukimanyi bulungi nnyo gwe wajja watta cooperative including Banyankole kweterana union eyali amaanyi ng'esinga n'ebugisu. Abeebugisa bakutegeera ne bagaana cooperative yaabwe ekyakolera ddala bulungi era tebalina bizibu. Kati gongomazo jita wagamba toyagala jizze engulu. Sebo oli ku mulambo ogukuba empiso ogutadde oxygen guli mu intensive care ng'oyagala kuguza engulu. Kyakisobola n'olwekyo Bannayuganda njagala mutegeere nti bano ababaka ababalimbalimba nti abamu balina okutya batya President Museveni tebagala mubulira kituufu. Abo babaka kasita kugamba ati omubulira oyo abeera mu buyabuya kubanga omubaka alina okwogera ekituufu. N'olwekyo tusazeewo tujja kukunga Bannayuganda tujja tutandika wiiki ejja tutalaga ensi yonna mu Western Uganda tubuulire abantu ensonga eno ate ffe tuli ku kituufu. President teri yakugambye n'ababaka abali mu kulimba nti tukiwagira era abeewo mbabuulire baatulekawo muto gikwatako nga balowooza nti tetugenda kudda kubanga twagaana nga tuleeta ebirowoozo by'abantu weetuli era tukyaliwo. Naye ssebo president genda mu nte ozinako obukugu ate nga mpunzika Bannayuganda njagala mukitegeere nti omuntu singa ojja n'olimba ensi yaffe eno n'olimba pulezidenti nti mu busa bw'ente mulabiseemu ekyobugagga ekyakabi aga Katonda bajja kukeera nti obusa bwonna tewabawo abukwata mu ggwanga waliwo abufunidde ettenda babawe n'ebidomola ente mulina ozitega nga zipama buggwawo babutwale yensi bwetuuse bwe tumaze otutuuka ng'Abannayuganda Mukama bampeera omukisa naye ku nno tojja tusobola tufiirawo. Yes, bwe twali mu kokasi Secretary General bwe yalaba ababaka bonna bakayanye ng'amaze okwogera ne bakuba mu ngalo President yagwa shock. Kati namugamba President bano bye bakubuulira kasita okkiriza nti emmwanyozi maginge tebagenda kudda tugenda mu kalulu naawe ogenda mu kalulu. Kati President wange mu kutya okungi ng'alowooza ayagala kutaasa ababaka kwe kusalawo nti kakati tusooke tukisembezeeyo emyaka 3 tusooke tumalirize akalulu bwe tunaakomawo kubanga yakimanyi tayagalangako ababaka okukomawo bonna era tusabira obutadda kubanga tuba twamutegedde kati bwe banaakomawo abapya oba tuzze oba tetuzze abakwatiraawo akiyingize nolwekyo tebaawadde emyaka 3 nti mu mutume omulungi kwetaasa akalulu katutwala emisolo amata kituufu nti President Museveni obusosoze tuzze nga tubulaba mu ngeri gye tulima n'okulunda mwabatulaba Bannayuganda mumpe ensonga nti lwaki ente abalunzi b'ente bw'akwata amata n'agateeka ku kidomolo oba ku kkaani ng'ayisa mu katawuni akeewamu tasasulangako n'omusolo yadde nusu 10 bana babeera n'obutikiti nga bajjako omusolo gwa local government. Lwaki owange bw'akwata ettooke n'aliteeka ku ggaali n'ayita Ishaka mu kasenta waasookera okutuuka oba n'ateeka ku katale bamukubira tiketi bamuggyeko omusolo. Lwaki omusolo guli selective? Ekirala motoka ezitwala amata njagala ogenda obitunuulira ebimoloka ebyo byonna birina ennamba emyufu nga mulimu ne red ze tuyita nti ziri tax exempted tezisasula misolo okijja bweru nga bwe kiri bwe kiba kya $4 oba $10,000 kijjira ku 10 tekiwa musolo no. Kakati mbuuze mmwe be mulowooza nti President abaagala nnyo nze bwe ngula fuso nga yakutwala amatooke gange oba amajaani nakyo nga kya ttunzi lwaki yo tebajja exempting omusolo. Kati njagala mutegeere nti ffe tuli mu kkanikira abavuzi mu ggwanga yatwerabira ayagala okwetaasa ndowooza lunde ente baliwo okutwavuwaza amajaani nagasigukulula byonna ebiti n'embijjayo n'embiteekaawo nga neetaasa nga ndabye nusu 2 nze mbwateekamwa ompe nusu 2 ate ona pulakinga onanoga omuwa 15 nenga salawo nenga kuula baganda bange nemanya nti kaneetaase omusajja ono President engeri gyatutayiza eno atwavuwaza alyoka atufuga obulungi atukala kati kanveeyo kangende mu mwanya maze okulima emmwanyi zange ntaddemu ssente ntaddemu ebijjumisa nkoze buli kimu Katonda mugula omusajja omulugube anumbye asiikanye eno ayagala kuntwalako ebyanda tetujja kukkiriza. Waliwo omusajja bali bamuyita kisa kya gundi oba kyaki we tutuuse mujja tusinkana ku street nga tutambula nga tuli bute tugenda kubeera bavuzonto tuyinza kutwavuwaza abantu abaali bagagga gwe n'osigaza abantu akakunda akamu bwe kati nga ke kagagga kokka tetujja kukkiriza.
Namwe abanamawulire kiri nti repoota eyo y'abatono yasayiningibwa 8-10 ababaka abo tebali ba Buganda. Omubaka asooka nga shadow minister nve waffe Bunyoro Nyakata Sinasi. Omubaka addako Wekase Honorable Flores woman member of parliament. Omulala yali Honorable Ithodo oyo Wateso. Honorable Achan Awol Betty oyo Munozana. Honorable Santa Okot naye Munozana. Newabeerawo n'Abaganda abafa 2 abava wano mu Central. Kati abagezaako kugamba nti kino ekintu kya Buganda yokka balimba. Kuvira ddala ku committee it was a regional thing. Lukwa ababaka bonna abasinga bagamba nedda abantu baffe kati bazze mu kulima omwanyi omwanyi guno bagufunamu nnyo. Ewaffe Bunyoro tulabye UCDA ng'esomesa abantu paka kutuukira ddala ku kyalo. ebasomesa omwanyi ogusimba otya kuvira ddala ku nasale ospacinga otya ogufuuyirira otya ogulabirira otya kulaba nti gutuukira ddala ku mutindo. Abantu bonna abajja ku komiti kukikirira emiliyoni 12.5 aba stakeholders walimu ba processors, walimu ba farmers, walimu abananyini factories, walimu n'aba businessmen abagusuubula. Bonna bagamba nedda UCDS gale. Ate mu abo walimu Buganda Parliamentary Caucus, ne wabeerawo stakeholders abava mu Buganda Kingdom, Bunyoro Coffee Farmers, Ankole Coffee Farmers, West Nile Coffee Farmers, Northern Coffee Farmers, Kanungu, Buhwezu, Bugisu Cooperative Union, n'aba individual stakeholders bajira omu bonna abalimi b'omwanyi ne bagamba nedda kusinzira UCDA kyetusizaawo in terms of amagoba kuuma omutindo kufuba nti kulaba nti akatale kaffe kabeerawo 24/7 budde buneekero y'omwanyi eggula wakati w'omutwalo gumu kitundu. Kiboko etanasusula eri wakati wa 15,800 batugamba UCDA nga tenajja abantu babadondolanga omwanyi nga bamugula ku nusu 2, 3, 10 bakuguza nnyo 8. Kati tulaba nti UCDA bwe naavaawo tugenda kudda mu mbeera eri y'okubeera nga abasuubuzi abalimi tebali sure of the market. Tugenda kulaba nga omusuubuzi bajja bakudondola bakugulya ku mwendo gwe bagadde. Tugenda kulaba abasuubuzi baffe abadde atunda omwanyi mutwalo gumu kitundu nga bamusuubula nusu 2, 3. Tugenda kulaba individuals monopolism in the sector of the mu subsector ya coffee nga bafuna omuntu omunga peneti ajja abasuubula amala abasuubula ne basiba obutale ne bagulawo nga bamaze okola kikusuubula abantu nga bwe tuze tulaba ku miwendo gya kasooli, miwendo gy'omuceeri, emiwendo gya taaba, emiwendo gya bikajjo ne vanilla. Kati tugamba nti ekisooka Ministry ya Agriculture terina busobozi obusobola ku managinga kino ekibiina kya Coffee Development Authority. Ministry ya Agriculture yenyini gye mulaba eremereddwa mu fisheries, amagye galese geefuge ku nyanja, abavubi tebakyasobola kuvuba, abantu baffe babakwata bulijjo babakuba, olusi bababuzaawo, abamu bafunye ebiwuta ne bafuna ebiwundu permanent disability bamagye bano kubeera ku nyanja. Naye byonna ebyo bisupervising wa Ministry of Agriculture. Abalimi beetaaba ffe ebunyolo twalimanga pamba naye kuva bagijjako ne balekawo giteekamu sente ne tudda mu taaba. Abalimi baffe bulijjo babajjaga. Tulina ekitongole bakiyita ni Mataba Continental banyagako abalimi baffe over thousands of tobacco farmers. Budde bono bwetwogerera tulina petitions nyingi nnyo kuva West Nile. Abalimi beetaaba babanyaga. Now it is coming to 8 years. Ministry of Agriculture ekimanyiiko ethirise. Tulina abalimi b'amajjaani petitions tetusobola nazibala. Betomboita banyagibwa individuals zino baba bajja ba investors bano bakola MOUs ne government bamanyi bulungi nnyo Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Agriculture. Naye esirise tesobola kuyamba mulimi. Mulabye muganda bangagamba yalima amajjaani naye atukuse n'ogakola ki gakula. Abalimi b'ebikajjo tale yabeeranga ku mitwalo 25 ku mitwalo 3 budde buno eri ku mitwalo 6 kitundu. Naye Ministry of Agriculture is the one which is managing. Abalimi baffe bagenda batugamba tulime vanilla, moringa, aloe vera byonna ne babirima. Naye nga bamaze obirima akatale ne kakola ki ne kalema. Bani abalema okubaweereza akatale Ministry of Agriculture. Abantu ne baddawo ne batema moringa, ne batema vanilla, ne batema aloe vera ne baddira ddala ku zero. Kati babadde bagambye kati katudde mu mwanyi okuba akatale tulashuwa nti kakoze eki kaliwo. Ate obulungi bwa UCDA kasite emanya nti olinako ekayo y'omwanyi nga bali ashuwadiro nti bagijja ne bagirambula gyeri. Bakuwa ne sente nga tonakungula. Bw'omala kungula nga gwe ne school fees wasasula dda kyoyagala wamala kifuna naye ne bagenda ne bajjayo omwani wa ku kyoma. Kyetubuuza gavumenti lwaki eri mu bwangu nnyo olwokulaba nti ebbiro etteeka lino liyitawo mu bulungi n'omu bubi. Kyetubuuza gavumenti ne palamenti y'eggwanga nti palamenti egenda koma ne palamenti y'11. Ekirala kyetubuuza gavumenti kiri nti singa tetuyisaawo etteeka lino gavumenti egenda kufa leero egenda kugwa. Tusaba Abannayuganda mwena gye muli tubakunga muteeka ababaka bamwe ku nninga. Bakansalazi be mwalonda abakulembeze bonna be mwalonda mubateeke ku nninga basobole okuyimirira ne miliyoni 12 kitundu egiwangalidde mu bulimi mu mwanyi ezisobodde okusomesa abaana mu mwanyi ne basobola okugagawala mu mwanyi. Budde buno omwanyi gw'eggwanga 65% in the whole world. Uganda yokka yetunda 65% to European Union. Lwaki? Okuba omwanyi gwaffe guli ku mutindo. Omwanyi gwaffe mulungi nnyo, gulina akawawa akalungi nnyo. Ku lwa UCDA twasobola okutuuka ku kifo kya number 2 mu Africa yonna. Number 7 in the whole world in terms of omwanyi omulungi ogw'omuti oguli ku mutindo. Omwanyi omulungi ogw'akawawa akalungi. Lwaki? Bino byonna bikoleddwa UCDA. Kati UCDA ng'emaze okukola emaze otutuusa ku level eyo yonna worldwide but also at continental level. Tusaba gavumenti ensonga y'omwanya egiveeko. Tusaba gavumenti ewulirize abalimi emiliyoni 12.5. Tusaba gavumenti ewulirize ne parliament ewulirize abo abagironda. Tugamba we a people centered parliament. Lwakire tuwuliriza abalimi emiliyoni 12.5 ejjaja ne gigamba nedda abantu baffe bagambye bannange UCDA mugireke. Tusaba mukunge tugenda tambula ffe nga Western Uganda kunga abantu baffe Bunyoro tujja, Ankole tujja, Rwenzori tujja, Toro tujja, Rwenzori tujja. Wiki ejja tugenda kujja musobole okutuweereza ebirowoozo byamwe ku nsonga eno.
Baganda bange babyogedde teri kyamaanyi ekiri awo ekisigadde okujjawo kubagamba nti n'okugenda ku record nti fenga Bunyoro tuwagira ekya Uganda Coffee Development Authority kubeerawo era kubanga okubeera nga weeri nga tegiddwawo kubanga tumanyi bulungi abantu baffe bamanyi bulungi wajje bajje twalina unions 2 mu Bunyoro the whole of region kuvira ddala Kiryandongo paka Muhoro Muzizi River ku border ne Kabarole esooka nga Bunyoro Growers Cooperative Union neyo kubiri nga tujita Kitara Growers Cooperative Union. Unions ne2 zakola kinene nnyo mu kuzimba ennima n'endabirira n'entunda y'emmwanyi mu region. Naye zino ze zasooka unions ze zasooka okusaanyizibwawo. President Milton Obote yavuira mu buyiiza mwaka 1985 nga eggwanga lyaffe nga liri waggulu nnyo mu kukola ki mu kutunda emmwanyi ne ssente nga tufuna ssente nyingi kuva mu mmwanyi. Naye mumanyi nti ebyaddirira wakati awo unions zonna nga zisaanyizibwawo ebizimbe nga bimenyese emmotoka bazitutte emmwanyi nizikola ki nizivaawo abantu ne badda mu bwavu ensi n'ekyankalanya. Naye kati wetuvudde Uganda Coffee Development Authority yebadde tujjeyo yebadde ejjeyo abantu naddala mu bitundu awalimbibwa emmwanyi ng'ekoze kinene. Tetusobola n'olwekyo kubanga tulaba bwe tuti nga Uganda Coffee Development Authority ejibwawo mu ngeri etetegerekeka. So nobwekyo abantu baffe tebawagira era nga bwe muwulidde tugenda kutalaaga tumuvinge tubulire abantu ku nsonga eno n'oluvannyuma tulabe ffe nga bwe tubagambye twewaddeyo tujja kuyimirira ku magulu gaffe abiri tulwanirire UCDA ate tulabe nga UCDA tevaawo. Mwebale nnyo.